congratulations to Matt and Chantel. Okay. I seem like I remember you, but I apologize. My memory is gone too. It's my opinion that every student athlete's journey is unique. And Navin's is really, really unique. Navin, come up here. Come here. This is Navin Marimutu. My first thing I want to say is I attended a USTA conference about 10 years ago where the gal who was the head of the British Lawn Tennis Association spoke to us. And she said, if you want to do it right, then you want to do it the way we do it. We are doing physical profiling. And I went, physical profiling? What is that? And she said, if your father or your grandfather is not 6'1", 180 like Federer, then we kick you out of our program. Out of our program. Okay? I raised my hand, which she didn't like because, I always raise my hand. She said, Coach Beach, what do you got now? I said, well, I sure am glad that Andre Agassi, Jimmy Connors, and Mike, and the Chain Kid were all born in the United States. Are you kidding me? Okay. Look at the size of this guy. He is not tall. He is fast, though. He's powerful, and he's strong. So the first thing I want to clear up is why recruit India? Cascade doesn't play tennis. Cascade doesn't have a court. Okay. Did you go to Russell?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's why
Stop it.
I would never recruit Great Falls. I'm from Great Falls High. And that's where the tennis players come from. Listen, guys. We played Division II tennis in the RMAC, Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. There are between 400 and 500 tennis playing high schools in Colorado. Montana has between 40 and 50. And most of the kids who play are not at this level, okay? So we've got to go and get kids wherever we can get them. So I'm in my office one day and the phone rings. I say, hello, and this guy goes, Coach Beach? Yeah, this is Meenakshi. Meenakshi? Who are you? Well, I'm a coach in India and I've got a couple kids for you. I went, you're kidding. Who are they? Well, one's a girl. A girl? I'll take her. And a guy? I'll listen, okay? A week later, the girl was ruled ineligible by the NC2A because she had not taken her SAT, ACT before she went to a small school. Navin, he did everything right, and he had the great grades, so, we got him. He packed his bag and flew 13,000 miles to get to Billings, Montana, sight unseen. Now that works both ways. I hadn't seen him, he hadn't seen me, okay? So Christmas Day for me every year was the first day of practice in September. I looked at this guy, it was not good, okay? The net is your enemy, right here. Here's the net, okay? If you hit everything, you're going to eventually hit it into the net. If you hit it like this, everything down the line, you're eventually going to hit it wide. Going cross court is smarter. So I want high balls that go over the net and go cross court. He doesn't do any of that. Now, I'm a good coach. I kept my mouth shut and I let the kid play. All right? The result was he was named the Freshman of the Year in the RMAC conference. He won a lot of matches over 4 years, a ton as a matter of fact. And my coaching was very, very influential. because I didn't coach. You understand? He did this on his own. So, the international kids I have recruited and coached, over 50, are all smart and good students. It's just the way they are. Navin is bilingual, just like the rest of them. And Navin is now married, so he is double bilingual. Okay? He speaks Vietnamese. He says, yes, right away, dear. Okay, dear, I'll take the trash out right now, honey. And of course, the most important one, you are right and I am wrong. In Vietnamese, okay? When I went to school, I played tennis, and I was social. I'm gonna leave it up to you as to which one of those I did the most of. Navin's first semester grade report came to me. All A's, and then I looked at the top line. You ready? Speech communication? Speech communication? I feel like I'm Allen Iverson and doing practice? Practice? You're not talking game, all right? You ready for this? I called him up. I said, you could get over to my office right now. What's the plan, man? What do you mean, what's the plan? I said, so you get good grades. What is the plan? What job are you going to get after 4 years? He looked at me and said, nothing. I said, that's right. You don't have a plan. You get out of here and you get back in my office when you have something that you're going to do. The next day, he added business and CPA, okay? Certified Public Accountant. But then he did something I hadn't planned on. He kept the speech calm. He graduated with 2 degrees, a double major, all with great grades. Top of our team, I'm sure that he was B plus A in everything, okay? Our trips. We would go somewhere and I would look around and say, where's the bean? Everybody's getting out of the bus, heading for the subway for food, except Navin. I walk around to the back, he's asleep on the luggage every single time. And I go, what is going on? All right? And then I found out. He was fixing computers every single night, like past midnight. So he goes to school all day, he practices tennis, and then he is fixing computers. All right? And I go, why are you doing this? This is crazy. He is sending money to his brother to help him go to school in Indiana, which he did. He supported his brother, okay? Not many guys I've ever worked with has ever done this, okay? Navin was not a wealthy kid coming out of high school like most of my international kids. His dad was a cop, all right? So he is a straight shooter. He knows what life is all about. To sum this guy up, Navin played a power game and won a lot at the top of our ladder. You cannot, okay, you cannot see this in today's generation. Most guys do not play the net. They stand back and slug the ball from the baseline, and it's boring. I can't stand it. I don't even watch it on TV, okay? But he could. He really did play the net. He graduated with 2 degrees, with super grades. Somehow he convinced Brianna to marry him. I don't really understand a lot of this. And since graduation, he has been a positive influence for kids from Billings as they develop their game, okay? Now, I have to be honest with you. I'm anxious to hear what he has to say. I don't think he's ever used a speech comm degree. So tonight would be the first time we hear that, but before we do, Lou wants to say a couple words, so he's coming up to say a couple words.
Well, the reason we're doing this is because we split careers with Navin, and I want to start by thanking Jerry for bringing him in. I coached Navin his junior and senior years, and as a coach, and those of you who have coached know what I'm talking about, there are a very small few people that you remember and kind of follow as their life goes on because they made an impression on you. And Navin is one of those people. He made a tremendous impression on me. And the first impression he made was Jerry marked about his physical stature. He's one of the few guys that I'm taller than. But the USTA has certain metrics that they use, and they're a little bit wiser than the British Lawn Tennis Association. They're actually performance-based. And so when I first started here, in that first day of the fall, we did a little physical evaluation. And among the events and the things that you measure are vertical leap. Okay? It's Navin's turn, and he took his warm-up jump. And I personally have seen a lot of world-class athletes. This guy jumped 36 inches vertical, standing jump. People, that's world-class. Okay, so he has a lot of stick-to-itiveness, a lot of physical talent, and more physical talent than meets the eye. Okay, that's really terrific. So that was a tremendous surprise. The things that you remember athletes for are not necessarily, though, their performance on the court. They're the qualities and their contribution to the community. And that was Navin. He was a member of the Student Athletic Advisory Committee, I think all 4 years, and president 1 year or 2 years? 2 years, yeah, last 2 years, junior and senior year, he was president of the Student Athletic Advisory Committee. He was also active in the community tennis. You'd see him teaching kids in the summertime, and he was known around town for his contribution. On the team, when he played, I don't think Jerry mentioned the specifics, but he has the record for the most singles win, the second most doubles win, the most singles win in a season, the most doubles wins in a season, and for 3 years, he was RMAC All-Conference Academic. Okay? He was an amazing guy. He was a leader. When there were matches going on the court after he had finished his, and he often finished early and won, he would go around to all the rest of the matches, men and women, and be there and be encouraging. He was definitely a leader, and I can tell you that leadership can take many forms. And I have to tell one story. We were in the RMAC championships. We actually were RMAC finalists that year and went to the NCAA postseason. And Navin was a huge part of that. But in his last match in the RMACs, he was having a hard time. It was hot. He was cramping. I went down to the court. The trainer came to the court. And the trainer was not our trainer. He was one of the RMAC school trainers. And he's saying, "Oh, you're cramping. Drink water, drink water, drink water." Well, many of you know that when you're cramping, it's not about drinking water. You need electrolytes. I said, "Man, you got to get some Gatorade." And he's got these 3 unopened bottles of Gatorade sitting under the chair. And I said, "Navin, you got to drink some of that Gatorade." He goes, "Coach, I hate Gatorade." I said, "Okay, but it will help you." Well, it was kind of too late, and it was a tough match for Navin, and he was not happy about losing, but he was less happy about feeling that he had left his team down. He's a little bit disgusted, and he's coming over to the side, and he intends to throw his racket into his bag, and it slips, goes flying over the fence. Well, the bad luck was the tournament referee was watching, and in tennis, when you hit a ball out of the court or throw a racket out of the court, that incurs a point penalty. But his match was over. They have a rule for that. point penalty is assessed against the next player whose match is still on court. So our number 2 singles guy was still on court. He was struggling a little bit, and I have to come over to him and say, hey, Navin chucked his racket out of the court, so you get a point penalty. Well, at the time, he was kind of struggling in the match. He did not lose one more game. Okay? Navin motivated him to step forward again. All right, it's my pleasure to say congratulations. You belong here, and I'm glad you're a small part of that.
He wants to know if he's supposed to give a speech. You have speech common degree, of course you give a speech.
I'm going to take the excuses. My first language is not English, so I wrote everything down, mostly. For starters, I want to thank Coach Peach and Coach Lou for talking me up and a little bit of talking down. Greatly appreciate that. I must thank James Catlin. He's not here today. Is he in Florida? Yeah. He nominated me, and I really appreciate that. And he was on the team my first 2 years. Peach remembers him, and the Hall of Fame committee for taking the time and effort to select this group of distinguished individuals. I think I remember Matt briefly and Chantel. I must have crossed over when they saw basketball matches. I thank you for them for being here. It's an intimate group for sure. I congratulate our fellow inductees today. As I share the stage with you, I feel humbled. Now I must thank the sport itself. Without tennis, I would not be here today. Most of my fond memories involve tennis. I'm fortunate I picked tennis over cricket. Cricket being a religion in India and East Asia mostly. I'm going to tell you a small story, a small part of my tennis, how it influenced my life. I was about 9 years old. The school I went to did not really give importance to sports. PE classes were mostly canceled, and they were taken over by mathematics or science, which was fine. It helped me most of the time. But my father, being a police officer, realized that he needed some type of sports in my life, mostly probably because I don't want to get in drugs or something like that. Some sports will help. He gave me the option of cricket or tennis. At that time, and now, cricket is a religion. I felt I needed something different. I chose tennis. On a police officer's salary, which is about $300 a month, as Coach Pete mentioned, tennis is a luxury. Somehow, my father negotiated about $2 a month fees for my tennis instruction. I should probably go, get a negotiation class with him, but I don't know how to get it. My father taught me how to ride the bicycle. I still remember my bicycle. I could go to tennis class every day on my own. He was really on that, where I do everything on my own. Even my brother, we traveled at a young age, 12 years old, and about. I still remember the road I took, the turns, the potholes, the speed breakers. We have a lot of speed breakers for no apparent reason. After school, between 3 to 6 every day, I showed up to tennis class. I ran around the 2 tennis courts, 10 laps probably. I picked up an aluminum racket, which is provided by my coach. He pointed me to one of the net holes and told me, this is your spot. He showed me how to swing the racket, do shadow practice. And I did that for about 2 hours every day for about a year and a half. Looking back, I was fortunate. I had Roger Gopal sir. He was my first tennis teacher to teach the tennis the way he did. I became fundamentally sound and disciplined because of him. For about 2 years, I didn't hit a tennis ball. And I still go back to it even when I teach kids over here. Fundamentals is key, and discipline is key. Thank you, Roger Gopal sir. For about a year, I finally allowed to hit a ball. It was a drop feed. From then on, I picked up tennis very quickly. I started playing tournaments and winning in some of them, and the rest is history after that, and now I'm here. I would like to thank my parents. It would not be possible if it weren't for them. And my mother believed in me, and my father trusted me. Without their support, I cannot imagine myself being here. To this day, I cannot fathom how my parents managed to support me in tennis. Tennis being an expensive sport, being an individual sport, but my parents made it possible for me and my brother. Thank you, Amma and Appa. Now I thank my second and most important tennis teacher, Meenakshi sir, as Coach Beach mentioned, the call he got. I played under his guidance for more than 10 years, still now. He's like a second father to me to this day. If I calculate all the time I spent with my father and Meenakshi sir, I'll probably think I spent more time with Meenakshi sir than my father. College tennis was only possible for me because of him, and I thank Meenakshi sir for that. I had fond memories in my time at MSUB, from the day I arrived to now. I met Steve, he's not here today, he's one of my best friends and teammate. Coach Beach despises Steve, and probably Steve despises Coach Beach as well. But I was the oddball, and for some reason, if anybody likes Coach Beach, there's a small group probably, right, Coach Beach? At the time at MSUB, I was fortunate. I met my partner in crime, Brianna, in the 7th floor Petro Lounge. If you lived in the dormitories, you'll have those memories. She was watching Phineas and Ferb, the cartoon. I think that's why I fell in love with her. We're married. So far, so strong. I got my first job because of MSUB. I stuck around in Billings because of MSUB. In essence, I actually still live on MSUB property, and I thank for that. I thank MSUB, the professors, the staff for making this possible, and thank you, and all the thanks I can get. And I thank every one of you for being here this evening, and I'll cherish this moment. Go Yellow Jackets.